Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Seems Legit, the pod. As you already know, it's myself, Sean, Simi, Jarrell, here to talk to you about perception reversal. And what I mean by that is, what if we were to really think about putting shoes on the other foot in general? We're going to dive straight in. Off screen, we had a little conversation about what we would choose. You're probably going to see a clip about that. But Simi, you mentioned, being a woman and experiencing, how men could be intimidating physically and emotionally. What I wanted to ask, and probably not a question for you, actually, probably a question for you, Jarrell. If we were in a world where women were physically stronger and we had to go out in the world and look behind our back and be cautious of walking home and all these things we never think about, how do you think you would feel?
That's very hard because you've never had to think of it. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a strange. The
really
reason
hard
I'll
to
help.
even like twist your brain to even think that way because you're not programmed to think that way.
No, but we don't ever think about that
no.
at all. Like, to
No.
some degree, we don't. Let's be honest. Whereas, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Simi, women probably think about that
constantly.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. You're walking back. Who's behind you? If it's a woman, you don't care. If it's a guy, okay, you'll look back. Is he still following me? I take this right. Is he you? And to the extent where you'll probably change a route home
Every time.
99.9% of the time.
It's mad, isn't it?
Who's sat next to me on the train?
Why when it's a woman, it's not as dangerous?
I think it's just because I'm a woman, and I would think if anything was to ever happen, I have more of a chance of being able to fight something off. Or I don't see why a woman's going to want to try and attack another woman.
Especially for what you're saying is they're going through the same processing stuff as you do.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I could put it down to. But it's constant. It could be like something like, say, for example, we're in a bar and a female keeps looking over at you. As a male, your ego would probably come into play.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Sure.
His ego would come into play. It would. His ego would come into play. Naturally, of course. I can see that happening. Yeah, 100%.
But for us, and I was only speak for myself, ego doesn't come into it at all. If anything, I'm now suspicious of you. Like, why do you keep looking at me? Like, who am I with?
Okay.
If I'm with Sam, then I don't really feel, I'll be like, I'm okay. I don't need to worry about anything. If I'm with the girls.
Cool. What if you forget Sam, what if you find that person attractive and they're looking at you? Do you still have that negative connotation to the looks? Or because he's handsome, he could be a bit of me. Does that change your perception of that then?
Maybe, I suppose. But I would still, like, once, if you're looking at me for like the whole evening, I'm a bit like...
Yeah, you're going to come over and say hi. Or,
you're either gonna, or you're just going to stand there and stare. And if you're standing there and staring, it's a bit awkward.
Weird.
But then I would also reposition myself. Like, I would probably like just not look over at him anymore and like reposition
That's
myself.
if he's staring for too long.
Yeah.
But if he's glancing, he's catching your eye and like
you smile and
you're like, oh, you think he's kind of handsome.
Yeah.
Does that then take away this threat?
Initially, probably, yes. Maybe.
So good-looking people aren't dangerous.
But also, if then I went out for I don't smoke, but if I went out for a cigarette or if the group went out for a cigarette and I followed them and then he was there, then I'd be like, no, this is, regardless of whether you're good-looking or not, you're being a bit weird.
But then how do you guys approach girls then? Well, we're going to talk about, we're going back. Yeah. We're going to talk about this role reversal because these are the things that, like, I think we all do take for granted and don't really acknowledge enough or have empathy for.
Yeah.
Because we are not really putting ourselves in other people's shoes. So I'm going to go straight back to that one. You wonder. You're now living in a world where women are physically stronger. How do you feel like that might impact you
I suppose the first thing you'd have to do is find your place, I guess, like in the society, in the food chain and things like that. And whatever attributes I have, I would then have to use those to get ahead, like some women do for themselves. do you know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
So I think that's the key. I don't know how else I would feel because it's a really weird perception.
It's hard for you to actually
you ever
imagine it.
Have you ever had to go to a club and worry about your drink?
No. Well, I mean,
Not that I would.
yeah. No. I'm going to say overall, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Overall.
saying overall no,
hmm
but it's something I am conscious of. Like I wouldn't get up, like say here, go to the toilet, come back and drink the same drink. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like unless I left it with one of the boys or something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
and that's regardless of where I was, whether I was
Mm-hmm.
in a club or do you know what I mean? So that part, not because not because I
Yeah,
think
it's-
anything's gonna happen to me, but I just
because-
don't know now what's in my drink, and
Yeah.
for health reasons or whatever reasons, I just wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Have you ever had to think about what you're wearing? If something's too tight or your shorts are too short or your low cut top is too low
The
cut.
only thing I think about is whether it's color coordinated or not. If I'm honest.
So you've not had to ever worry about like if I wear a vest,
I think
am I going to people be looking at
I
me?
think it depends
like,
where. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't like when you go to work. You think you'd process that.
Yeah.
That's just
yeah.
for work to make sure
You don't
that
have
you're
to. You'd never
presentable.
thought about it for like how it makes you feel or how society's going to look at you. It'd just be like, do I look okay?
Oh no.
Am I smart enough for work?
The only thing I think guys may go to that level would be if they're a little bit insecure about their weight
Yeah.
or
Okay.
or
Yeah,
build
yeah,
even.
So they might wear
where-
loose tops. To,
Yeah,
if they
to
got
a
you know,
belly
thing
or any of those or they're skinny. that
Yeah.
would be the only time I think that they would be, or we as men would be concerned or thinking about how we dress. But
genuinely, I
No.
don't think men. I don't really like come to what's Smith's got on today. Do you know what I mean? Like,
nah.
Yeah.
you don't really do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really. I don't think I ever go
Do,
out
do women do that with women?
with other women.
Oh, what? Sorry.
Like
Judge
one
what
just like you
they're
said,
wearing.
yeah, he wouldn't like. I literally just now clocked really
Yeah.
what he's wearing,
Mm.
but I didn't like study what he was wearing. Like, when I
Yeah.
saw him and we were just chatting, but I never.
Yeah.
If he said, "What was I wearing?" Like
wouldn't.
straight, like
Yeah.
if he turned around right now, I'd have been like a black top,
Yeah.
and because I know he's not going to wear pink trainers,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
black
Yeah.
trainers.
Yeah.
That's probably about it. Don't ask me about the top. Don't ask me what
Yeah.
trainers were. Nothing.
Yeah.
Do women
Girls
do
definitely take notice of what other girls are wearing. Makeup, hair, shoes,
to judge
nails.
them or to make sure you're fitting in with whatever the like socialite part of that event is.
what I'd say, and it may sound wrong, a part of me is judging
Mhm.
Mm.
because if I feel like a girl is wearing, and it's not going to be like if she's out, her body parts are just out.
Mm,
Like I'm looking at it being like, what are you doing?
Mm,
Like even if your fabric had 6 more inches on it, you'd look banging in that outfit.
Mm.
But also because I like to know like what's someone wearing and
yeah.
oh I wouldn't have put that and that together, but actually that's
Yeah,
quite cute
yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff
Stop
like
wearing
that.
the battered white Air Forces, please.
That's a message to the audience.
Please.
That's a message.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
with-
probably the only thing I look at. You know, when
Yeah.
I see people, I like what?
Mm.
But I wouldn't just do it to girls.
Nah,
I do it to
Guys,
guys as
everyone.
well. Like one of the first things I see when I see someone is what they're wearing.
Yeah, because I think there's always an element. I'm pushing a line here, but I think there's more of an element with women that they will wear things to attract, like more of an attention. Men do it too, but I feel like that's probably more. And tell me if I'm wrong here. I think women are more. That's more their motivation.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a sticky line
that's,
because
I'm
they'll
gonna-
tell
I'm-
you
Said it with
they wear
sense.
it for themselves.
Well,
that's what they're gonna. Yeah,
What?
that's what they will
They'll
argue.
tell you they wear it for
People will
themselves.
say we wear it because why couldn't I wear this skirt?
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't do it to attract attention. I'm doing it because I want to wear it.
yeah.
But I think there is some truth in what you're saying.
The problem is, and not just this conversation, people will, I like to say, abuse certain like grey areas like that.
Mhm.
Because as you said, there probably is people who do, and there probably are some truth in it where I'm just, if I was a woman, doing it to attract attention,
Yeah.
you know? And it's weird because it's like, I'm thinking, what's wrong with owning that? Though?
Yes, yeah.
This is where like this question, like why is it a bad thing?
Yeah.
Just say
I truly believe anytime if you're going to an event or you're going out, there's got to be a part of you that has put on your
Wants to look
outfit to look good to someone. And it might not be to attract attention, but like you said, you could say, oh, that outfit looks fly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
And
mean?
I
That
want to
person
look, and
looks
I want to look good.
and you want to look good.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with owning it. If you're a nice single woman, or if you're not single, whatever it might be,
Yeah.
putting that outfit and wanting
To
that
impress
self
someone.
gratification of others, not that that should be the only reason you dress up,
Mhm.
and then own it. So yeah, I put on that because I wanted to look
Yeah.
fly today. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a bit of a grey area on that one.
I definitely think though, if you was to go into like just speaking to the girls in your lives about what situations and what things they have to do differently compared to guys,
Mm.
it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind.
And I've been having these kind of
Yeah.
conversations, and this is what kind of brought this topic up, because I thought, I think we always are talking about, differences between each other and blah, 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 blah. But have we really had like a conversation and being like, okay, let me really imagine what
the
it's like
differences are.
and all those little things in between. So as you said about, obviously, when you're in a bar
Mm,
and someone's looking at you,
yeah.
not once in my brain, unless it's a guy probably looking at me, then I
Yeah.
might think, okay, maybe. But then we're going
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
we're going back to this
Talking
male.
opposite
We're going
sex.
back, was it? But we're going back to this male thing as well, where
Yeah.
males have more of a
Stigma.
and
Yeah.
there's more of a negative stigma.
It
Because if
is,
there's a woman doing
because
most
you guys,
things,
as
Yeah.
a whole,
Some,
are dogs.
some,
You guys are
some,
dogs.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
everyone.
Some of you guys
Quotation
Uh,
marks.
are dogs.
Oh,
And I can, whether you meant it or not, I can guarantee you have probably made a female feel uncomfortable
Yeah, 100%.
once in her life.
100%.
all right. We're gonna, because we already asked about,
100%.
kind of asked about how you would try and live in a world where women are physically stronger, and they're, and they've been. I didn't put that. They've been dominant in history, because I missed that part out, because this isn't just a thing where men have just been stronger and that's it. Men have been dominant and women have not been able to do certain things for a long time. So all of that stuff does play its part in society still today.
Yeah.
Like very, very much so. But for you, Simi,
Mhm.
you're putting yourself in a boy's shoes now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're a good-looking guy and you're looking for a good-looking girl.
Yeah.
What do you do? Because historically, I don't know how it is anymore in the world, men predominantly go up to women
Yeah.
and approach them and court them and, want to get to know them.
Mhm.
What do you think you would be like if you were to put, man shoes on? Now you're a man and you're going to have to go and speak to a guy.
Fuck boy. No, joking.
Hey!
She said she a dog.
Guys are all men.
said she a dog.
Guys are all dogs. What happens if you're a guy?
She's a roof, roof.
No.
Listen.
No.
Oh.
I would probably go into it with I know how
Don't lie,
it feels
it's right,
for a
own that,
female.
own it.
No, I wouldn't. I think it's so yuck.
Is that
It's
because you're seeing it from a woman's
Yeah.
point of view,
Yeah,
though?
that's what.
Yeah,
but
but now
I
you're
won't-
not allowed to look at it from that.
but I
You're
won't
now
be
a
able to
man.
switch that off.
But
You have
for
to.
what we're doing today, we have to do that for us to really
So
try
think
and
of
get
it,
an understanding.
as a man, that's
Yeah.
that's how you're
That's what you can
engineered,
do.
isn't it?
Oh.
Why you? No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I just feel yucky
It's
with
like,
thinking
"Ooh,
of
brother,
men's
ooh."
mind. Okay, so I'm kind of. That's me though.
It is you.
Can't we just go down the old school
Nah,
romantic way?
No.
Okay, talk us through it.
So if you see someone in a bar,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, send a drink over.
Okay, that's a bit creepy. She said.
Why is that? Is
I'm the
very
girl.
creepy.
I'm the
Actually,
girl, and I've said
no,
that's creepy.
Don't send a drink over, guys. Don't send a drink
This
over.
is why it's good. 'Cause
No.
what are you meant to do? And you can't be looking too much, obviously, because
Yeah,
you told
don't
us that's
do that.
creepy.
Yeah,
So,
'cause-
you're going to have to look but not look.
That's what you can do, Sim. How you gonna
What
court
are you
us?
going to do?
How you gonna court us romantically?
You're stuck.
I'm so stuck.
Yeah. Welcome to a bit of a man's world, though. That is the reality.
But it's like that because of historically how you guys are.
But that's not your fault.
No, it's not mine, but that's how it is.
Yeah,
But then you can't tar as, man
But
or
we
woman.
do.
Now,
but we
but
are.
You can't
so
now
why don't
tar
you pick a man
everyone.
for the jungle?
What?
Why didn't you pick a man for the jungle then?
we haven't done that on this episode.
They're
We
gonna know
haven't done
about
that
it,
on
and
this
they'll
episode.
see, and then we're gonna go back to
Do
why.
you know what's it? I want to know why Simi is defending like this thing right now. We just want to know what you would do if you were a guy, and that's it. It's just kind of simple.
I don't know.
Okay, forget the romantic side. Blah, blah, blah. How would you handle yourself in a workplace then, as a man? So thinking about, because it's very different, especially like in where I work. I'm surrounded by females.
Yeah.
So how would you pick a workplace? How would you navigate that as a man then?
No different to how I would if I'm female.
You think?
I don't. Well, how do you guys navigate and work? I'm thinking of like guys that I work with, and
Mhm.
none of them are like creepy
Okay,
or
cool. None of them are creepy or anything like
weird.
that. Do you ever think, as Simi Sim, about those things that you told us you have to think about all the time for these men then?
Probably not, because I don't spend enough time with them because I work from home.
Mhm.
That's the difference. I don't go into the office. I'm at
Okay.
home, so I
Okay.
don't.
If you were in the office,
Mhm.
because you do experience being in an office before, obviously.
So hypothetically in the office, yeah. Would you still think of these things?
Yeah.
Hmm.
As a man.
But as
As a
if-
female,
as
yeah,
Simi,
as
you
Sim,
Simi,
yeah, I
to
would.
start with.
Yeah.
So then, if now you're on the other side of that table, remember, men sometimes don't even think they're doing anything wrong,
Yeah.
but he could be making you uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, guys.
And sometimes women won't even say.
No.
So you're just going about your daily life, and you have no idea that whatever actions is causing distress over there, whatever. And then one day it's all blown up, and you're like, "Hey, why don't you just?" say
It's
from the start?"
something good to like unpack, because
Yeah.
it's just like that moment where you're doing like this. Is how we like I said. One of the reasons why I've been doing this episode is because I want people to really start like thinking about things on the other side and not just saying, "Oh yeah, I can kind of get their side." No, like actually being in that moment and understanding. Okay, if this is me now and I'm embracing this, and you're now a man and you want to go and speak to a girl, how do you go about doing that?
Okay, so as a female, if we were in a bar, let's say we're going to go down this scenario, and someone came up to me, wasn't like forceful, wasn't like rude, wasn't anything, just came up to me and said, I've noticed you, I think you're a really pretty girl, woman, whatever. Can I buy you a drink? I would feel more comfortable with that. So I can say, I really appreciate it, but unfortunately, I'm like married, so thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
So and then we can like, and to be honest, that wouldn't be awkward for me.
So you got that confidence just to go up to a guy and with his boys, they're having a good time. You got that confidence to just go up and say, "Hey, how you doing, Sam? You look good,
For
man."
Sam?
Nah, let's not use Sam because we're talking hypothetical, different multiverse timeline Simi. You see this guy, you like him, and this girl, you're a guy.
Yeah, I think you've got to have the bit of confidence. You've got to have confidence in yourself.
You have to.
You have to go to be able to go up to someone. Does everyone have that confidence? No. Could that make it harder? Yes. But you would have to have. If I saw someone and I wanted to approach them, I would have to have the confidence enough to go up to them and say.
So
and also the fear of being rejected.
right, I was going to get into that
that's
part.
scary.
Yeah,
So it's courting only for confident people.
Whatever you. It's for everyone.
You're now
Everyone
you're
could
now
do
an
it.
unconfident man. What do you do?
Use app or something.
That's what people do
Go
now.
on the app. But
Do you know? I'll be like, I'll try and do it for like if we're doing a
Yeah.
reverse and I'm.
if you
you
bear in
know,
mind, I haven't dated in 15, 16
Yeah,
years.
yeah, of
So I don't
course.
even know what dating's like nowadays.
Apparently, people don't speak to each other anymore.
So what did they do?
Like you just said, the app.
Oh.
That's.
So
which-
how does the app work? So I know obviously you got your swipe left, swipe right. Do you have like chat functions in there where you can actually
Yeah.
talk to people? Okay.
Yeah. So it's like it's all like surface level. It's all just pictures or videos, whatever it is, and you make your decision. They'll have like information of how old they are, how tall they are, if they've got children, blah 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 blah. If they
Yeah.
drink or not, whatever it is. But then
Yeah.
they'll make their decision based on that, whether they like them or not, and
Okay.
obviously how they look.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is. And then they would have to also swipe yes as well, I think. And then,
Okay.
yeah, that's how it works.
That's so scary.
And then they talk. and
No.
then I guess the flip side with that is now, going back to this whole thing where it used to be courting, now, because I'm going to own it, men are probably a little bit more forthgoing or more front-footed with how they feel or want to speak to a woman.
Yeah.
A woman could have 100 people in a
And I
app,
line.
Yeah.
and I think it creates this false sense of like
Attention.
attention that, oh, if you don't like me, then I've got another 99 dudes that want me anyway, when really they probably don't really want you the way that you probably think they want you.
But also
How
on
do
the
they
flip
want
side,
Maybe not all of them want them the way that they think.
also on the flip side, for the man.
Don't try it, sis. Don't try that. Don't try it.
But for the
Don't
man-
try
I
it.
just need to know which.
So the man on the flip side is a rejection here, but they also can message 90, 100 odd people.
Yeah.
So like, you know,
Yeah.
1 out of 10 might go for whatever Spencer's thinking.
But we're talking about the modern man and today's man, right? You right?
Yeah, he's got
Okay.
jokes. Just slide a little dig in there. I see you, bro.
So we're talking about modern day,
Mm.
but this fear and the intimidation and something has come from somewhere.
Of
From-
men
of
going
men.
to speak to a woman,
Or
or,
any,
or
Just walking
just
around
men,
and
just generally.
oh yeah, it's not a made up thing.
It's come from somewhere, and we all know it still happens today.
Yeah,
So I suppose hearing the story, you just, as a female, you're just on your back foot anyway.
constantly. Though.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or you have to be.
It's long.
You
I
have
couldn't,
to be.
and I think there is a male ego complex of
Do you guys know that?
what?
That women may potentially feel intimidated.
Yeah.
So say if you, for example, you
Yeah.
and the boys
I-
are going out, you've walked onto a bus,
Mhm.
and there's a woman, you've got up to the top deck, and there's one female there.
Oh, 100%.
Are
yeah.
you aware, actually,
Yeah,
we
I,
could
I,
look
I,
very
I,
100%,
intimidated?
I'd
but I
probably go
think-
back downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. But I
If
think
you're with all
there's
the boys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely, yeah. Or if it were just like there's no ones that like, I would like make sure we're not like too like loud or whatever, like
Boisterous and
Okay.
that
things
that
like
kind of
yeah.
thing. But I guess not everyone has that
Awareness.
awareness.
No.
I got a question. So you're saying that all women are like that? Are they programmed, or is this something that you're going to teach your daughter?
It's something that I think I would have to make her aware of. So in a way, I probably am.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Are we saying that are women that are passing this information down? So it's
Mm.
not that they're programmed to think like this, because from the earliest days, were they always meant to fear men? But is it because of the things that men have done along
Yeah.
the line? Not all men, obviously some men that have done along the lines
Yeah.
that has created this perception. So now you have to teach
Yeah.
the next generation that
Because I
this
feel,
is the perception of men.
yeah.
And
And I
you're doing
feel
that to
like-
keep them safe.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. It's probably to make them aware. Like, if you're ever on a train and someone's standing a little bit too close to you, you move away.
Mm.
And if they follow you again and they're still a bit close to you, you have to be aware of it,
Mm.
and you have to know that it's happening.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
There's always, as I love to say on the show, there's always good and bad
Mhm.
with
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is obviously for the right intentions, but the bad part could also be creating this,
Negative perception of men.
Yeah.
Like
it's
you
like an
consider
anxiety.
so then
And
what
so-
do you do?
so
Do
my
you
next- so
leave them?
So no, my next
Mhm.
question is: so with Jason, do you then teach him
Absolutely.
the other side of the coin of how his actions may be perceived in the world and
100%. 100%. And I think that's the only way we beat this.
to break the cycle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is when we teach guys, like, being a gentleman is cool again.
Mm.
Not this roadman, go out, if I see someone, I'm going to get her. If I don't get her, I get rejection, and
Gonna
my
hit her
feelings are
or do
hurt.
something
I
mad.
fire
Yeah,
back at
yeah.
her. This
Girls,
thing
people
is
have been
mad.
killed
Yeah,
like
It's
for that.
mad.
It is mad. But
But
then
when-
it's like, and I'm not a parent, it almost would probably feel like you're kind of fighting a bit of a current here. You're kind of
Mm.
going against the current
Absolutely.
because ultimately they're only going to be seeing what they're seeing and they're only going to be around what they're going to be around. You
Yeah.
can't control that part.
And
Yeah.
is there truly ever not going to be bad people in the world?
No,
No.
no. But
No.
100%, we need to teach
Mm.
our sons how to be true gentlemen, and
Yeah.
we need to teach our girls how to appreciate a true gentleman.
Mm,
Because that is also a thing as well.
We
is
need
that women
to.
don't
We
appreciate
take it for
that much
granted.
anymore as
No.
well.
100%.
not anymore, I don't
Mm.
think. I think those gentleman days are kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
I would say over, but I don't think it's
Far and few.
and far and few. And I
Mm.
think there's so many elements to this and layers to it, but there's also a part where I think guys are probably not even trying
Yeah,
to be a
'cause they're sick of
gentleman
it.
anymore.
Why?
and that's the question.
You know why? Because you go on like these Instagram and things, and the girls are slapping up. So the guy might have bought roses, done all this. He might have been like sensitive, whatever. She'll slap him online to get laughed at by the world.
Yeah.
So the next man's thinking, I ain't doing that then. You know what I mean? For the
Yeah.
world to laugh at me.
Yeah.
'Cause now they're on social media getting dragged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. That guy that went to the concert with his babes, and the babes went on stage with the
Yes.
with the
artist.
dancer, with the
Yeah.
artist, but was dancing.
Bitch.
Yeah.
My man, it got circulated.
Yeah.
It's a shame, and
Circulated.
there is a shame. I remember when like TikTok and stuff come out. I was like, it's like a very shame
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you know when
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook come out, it was
It
more
was a
about you,
community.
like
Yeah.
you show
Pictures
your community, you're
and
showing your
family
like,
and all that,
family.
yeah.
Then TikTok and stuff come out,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of just like videos of just like shame, shame,
Yeah.
shame, and I feel like I started to notice it, like where I would be in circles, and it was like a constant like, okay, how can we shame? Who's gonna get shamed next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like who? And it was that kind of, and I'm like, why are we just like? But
What
I'm a
we
bit
doing?
old.
But you do that as well. You go into the comments and stuff
Yeah.
of any video that like
Mm.
someone could put up. There'd be so much negativity in them comments.
Oh yeah.
But just
yeah.
someone trying who in their head they're perceiving is that something positive.
It's easy to be though, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're
like we
sat
said.
there, you could be a keyboard warrior. It's
and,
easy
and
to
this
be.
and this is the good and the bad of the internet,
Yeah. 100%.
because it connects everyone around the world, but also the bad part is it allows people to do things like this. And we had obviously an episode about, you know, this whole sticks and stones is a lie. Words do impact. You see it with footballers. These guys are stupid rich. Some of them get off their game because they're just constantly being ridiculed. Going back to the shame culture, back before when they were footballers, they weren't getting. The older ones weren't getting this
Yeah.
constant. They missed
No.
a shot.
Maybe.
You're an ape. You're this. Or
The funniest part about that shame culture is that these top footballers are in like the top 1% of footballing ability
Yeah.
in like the world. But
And people
Tom
wanna-
on Twitter
yeah.
who can't kick a ball in a straight line. Oh, it's
I
too
hate-
funny.
it's and it's
too
almost
funny.
like you want to say, well, how would you even let that affect
Yeah,
you? But then
yeah,
you can't say that
you can't.
because it's
a tidal wave of abuse. man,
Exactly. It's
constantly.
non-stop.
Absolutely.
So,
Sorry, can I have
oh yeah,
a
go
quick
on.
question? So how, if you guys have girls,
Mhm.
grow up, have a daughter,
Mhm.
how would you, what approach are you taking? Would you warn her, make her aware
Yeah, I think.
of the world
I think
and
you-
the
you-
men?
You say you have
or
to.
Do
Because what you
you
wouldn't,
not?
what I wouldn't want to do is her to be naive in the world and something bad happen. I'd rather her be overcautious and you know have the knowledge that or how to handle a situation if it arises, than the naivety that the world is good and trusting everyone and get burned
Being
on the
hurt
other
that
side.
way, yeah. It's
So we're all on the back foot.
Yeah.
and we know the good and the bad of that, but ultimately, the other side is just not worth
Yeah.
that
It's-
pain.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the only way
What
to break
pain you
the
gonna
cycle,
choose?
that, but like I said, the only way you're going to break the cycle is if you're educating the boys
At the same time.
at the same time.
Absolutely.
But actually, more like they are the ones who are creating this culture of.
Yeah, they more dictate it. Let's
Yeah,
just be
yeah, yeah.
100, of course.
Yeah.
Again, that's
And,
back to,
and because physically they can.
and that's back to
Mm-hmm.
the
That's just the
reversal of perception.
reality,
Now, actually,
yeah.
if it was the other way round,
Yeah.
do you think the world would be safer if women were more dominant because they don't think
Now
that
that's
way?
a question. That is a very good question, because then we can maybe go into testosterone, all these things. Does that play a part in us being physically stronger? And does that play a part into the evils and stuff that men can kind of get into?
Mm.
Like you were saying, when you think about being a guy, like, oh, like fuckboy, and like when you were just thinking about, the idea of probably being with multiple women and blah 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 blah, it was sickening to you.
Yeah.
And that's not a big deal in terms of like, oh my god, it's gonna change the world kind of thing. But just having that moment
Yeah.
already made you feel like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Would women then become that? Do you know what I'm saying? Because they almost have the
Yeah,
power
have
to
the
in
power
some
to.
ways.
But kind of women are.
You think?
Well,
Women
now,
are now
oh,
starting
now, oh,
to
100%.
take
Oh,
that
yeah.
role
That's
of,
because
I can be this.
that's
What is it? What are the girls? City boy? No, city boys.
City,
what are the
city
girls?
girls. City
City
girls.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole thing, like,
yeah.
and girls are okay. They're happy to go out and they're not being slut shamed anymore, and
Yeah.
they're fine. They're having pride in it.
But are they? This
They
is this,
seem in.
this is it's all
I genuinely
a
think they
facade.
are.
Things can be a facade.
No, I think they are.
Do you know what? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say most
Most women, no.
I'm gonna say no.
What that they're doing it and they're not
I think
enjoying.
they'll
the
do
fact they're
it,
doing
but I don't think they're really like. I think they're doing it, but they're not entirely happy in it.
And our guys.
I think they're adapting to
The
because
world.
we have to adapt, and your social environments and all these things that the world is showing you that is now the thing to be in some ways, which is madness. Let's not get into that. But I don't think they are really loving it. So let's do this. Let's imagine this. Let's go right back, when it was Viking and Roman times and they were fighting gladiators and stuff. And there's a man, if you weren't of a certain level of money, you probably had to go and fight and earn your way and all them things there. There are some guys who don't enjoy fighting.
Yeah.
But you would have seen them in the arena and they'd have been killing dudes and they've been doing their thing, but they didn't love it. They were in their environment. They're kind of doing this thing because we always kind of adapt in a way that that we're surviving because ultimately, and I'm not a woman, being the other side of that, from what you're seeing, it's weak. You're not going to gain anything. Guys are just going to roll over you, blah, 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 blah.
And this goes back to my point, was that if I was the girl in that first date, it's finding your rank in society. Because
you did say that, yeah.
Touching on what you're saying is that those girls who are doing that are now the popular girls, aren't they? So they seem to be popular. They got some money coming in. They get some influential, and they're around the circle of men who are powerful.
Correct.
Whereas the girls who aren't doing that, like you said, they seem to be weak and things like that potentially. You know, not all in those circles
seem to be. That's this
and
perception.
So, you know, that's them finding that. So if I do this and shake this, or talk to this
Yep.
person, I could get to this status level. Whereas that person down there doesn't have the same doors open for them. Do you think?
And so do you think when you say things like they seem to be weaker, is that from a male's perspective?
No.
No.
And that's the funniest part. No.
So you're saying females look at other females and see them as
Look
a weaker.
and talk about it.
That's how you guys come across sometimes.
Look and talk about it.
Is that you guys? I always feel most. I might be wrong, but in lots of like work environments, women will step on women to get where they want to. Whereas from what I see, like men will help men, like, you know, they'll put the ladder rungs on and think, not all, but men will help men because men understand that if I bring this person along, they might make us more, and then together we'll make more. And do you know what I mean?
Because women have always had to step on other women.
Yeah, maybe.
And to make it happen.
Maybe that comes from a bit of that, you know, because back then.
Because we're not successful. If you look at workplaces, you're not having, yes, it's on the rise, but you don't have women in the higher jobs,
Agreed.
CEOs, managing directors.
Because how many positions are there? Normally 1, 2, 3 max. And if there's 5, 6 women going for it, what's happened? You have to step on someone, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel men, because
But if there's 5, 6 women and a man going for it, who's getting it?
probably the man.
Why?
Depending on the qualification. I mean,
yeah, we're talking.
I think-
there's a lot. Like,
yeah,
what
there's
industry are we
yeah,
talking?
yeah,
Where
yeah,
are we
again,
even
definitely
talking?
industry,
Obviously,
things like
that's a
but
big
generally,
question.
I think that's a big thing. Women will do that. Men will, you know, they take their L home, but you just go and look for another job and you just recoup and thing. I think for women it's a lot more personal. Like at times I've had like workplace women who just like hate each other for no reason. And
you're probably the best because you're in it. Because I'm not really surrounded. I'm more probably surrounded by men.
Yeah,
but you're in
bro,
that.
And
so...
do you know what? So, and see, like I'm so oblivious sometimes to the things that go on. Yeah, that I couldn't even tell you if 2 women hate each other. Yeah, until someone like, you know they hate each other. I didn't even know.
Really?
we just don't. I'm just there to do the job and just be there for forever.
So
I don't even.
To it all. I don't genuinely think I've ever had to step on another woman to get what I wanted or felt or to.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Where do you? I'm gonna put you on a bit of a blast here.
Right.
We're talking about 2 types: the women who, at the moment, if you're seen as someone who's going to be caring and a wife for your man and all these things and cooking and all this stuff that historically women were more probably doing, is more pushed down to this lower level, and you're not going to be getting opportunities and blah 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 blah, and doing the opposite of that and acting like a man in some sense, and open your legs to God knows who and shaking your booty for God knows who and getting the attention from God knows who is a glorified thing now. Where do you rank either woman?
Where do I rank?
Either woman. Where are they for you? Is one like, who sits above and who sits below? Oh man, that's a bad question, but I'm asking you it. Who sits above who?
So who would be the weak one?
But then I think the person that's
you're gonna say true to yourself. You're gonna say true to yourself.
Oh, 100%.
But that's true.
100%.
But we spoke about people having to adapt and blah, 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 blah. And not everyone's confident enough to be their true selves. We know this in the world. Not men and women are not, there's a lot, most people more than not are not strong, I'm going to use that word, and brave enough to be their true selves.
Yeah.
Because they're more afraid of how other people are going to look at them and what that might do for them in their social environment or whatever you want to call it.
And there's 100% points in our lives where we've not been true to ourselves.
Yeah,
I
of
know
course.
there's times I think, when you look back in hindsight, I think, if I was really me, I probably wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. So anyway, answer the question to me.
I mean, to answer your question, it would be what is deemed the weaker one nowadays. I would put as the higher one.
Which one's that? You can say it.
The typical woman who has to look after their man, cook, clean, not have to, who holds a household down, who's the housewife, but still has a career.
Of course.
But it's such a detriment. We don't realise that having kids, which is expected of us as women, no one else can do it. It's only us that do it.
This is another reversal. Yeah, we don't have that pressure.
But the toll it takes, not only on physical, mental, house, everything that, your career.
Of course, because you're literally you're putting a chop.
And it's for 2 years.
Yeah, it's not like
You're
you're not doing anything.
No.
You've just chopped it.
And it's
employers
only now.
think of that as well. you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Sorry?
employers think of that stuff. Like
When
am
they're
I gonna-
hiring, 100%.
am I going to take the person who might be off for 2 years because they're going to get, and you have to pay it and thing and like
Yeah.
that? Or I'm not saying it's right, but or am I going to take the guy who's going to be here and show up every
And
day?
age, like if
And age,
yeah,
that's what I mean.
of
And
course.
if you're
Those
taking
things
the
are-
woman, I can guarantee you she's been on less pay.
Yeah,
Because she's been out of
potentially.
work for 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
So she's been
yeah,
out,
yeah.
she's only now getting in. So in a way, it's kind of like she's coming at entry level again. She
That
hasn't got
is-
2 years of
to-
experience.
And
to-
that's
behind her.
something.
To actually,
again,
we
Don't
don't
wrinkle.
think about. To
I
actually
never,
imagine.
I never think of going into an interview
Yeah.
with that kind of perception
Never.
or anything like that.
And imagine, bro. Imagine building to where we have
Yeah,
now,
Yeah.
and then just cutting it, and then potentially having to kind of
Pick
go a little
Go-
bit lower to
yeah.
come back in again because
But that's one child.
yeah,
How many kids do we?
Like
how many people do we know
3,
that
4s
have
and-
more than one
yeah.
child?
that's
So you're
deep.
saying you're
They've
expecting
taken,
a
like,
woman.
6 odd
we
years
start
off their
working
careers,
at
isn't
what,
it?
18? Let's say 21 after uni. 6 years. You're expecting if they have 3
Multiple,
kids.
yeah.
Let's say the average.
Yeah, let's say
household has 3
average. Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
So that's 6 years.
I'm trying to imagine.
So I'm 21. So really, my career doesn't start until I'm
30.
27, 28.
Do you then
And then you're competing with the women that aren't going
that
to have
aren't
kids.
gonna have? I was gonna say
and that want
yeah.
to open their legs up
But
and do
you're
what they
also-
want to do to
You're
get
also
what they
competing
want
with
to
the
get.
world because how much has changed since you did your training back in
100%.
21
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
to them 8 years or 6
6 years,
years?
whatever
How
it is.
much has
Yeah.
changed in that
So
time?
then,
to
as a
then go
woman,
back in?
I'm trying to put myself in a
Exactly.
woman's shoes in that situation. Do you then think maybe I should have them earlier, to then it gives me more kind of time to kind of catch back up with the things I'm going to miss because I'm going to have children? Not all women want to have children do, but if
Yeah.
I'm a woman, I'm putting my shoes and a woman's shoes on, and I'm going to have kids, and I'm expected to have kids, which is a whole nother conversation. But that career part, I've never had to think about, and I'm thinking now if I'm growing up and I'm like say I'm 18, turning 20 and stuff, 19, 20, and I'm already considering the fact that you guys have to already add that up is mad because again we don't think about none of that
none
stuff.
of that.
But you're saying I'm gonna be out 2 years, another 2 years if I have another child. Do I then have a child earlier, or do I try and
Aren't a lot
not?
more?
I don't know.
I
Aren't,
don't know.
aren't a lot more women
Yeah.
doing it, like having children later now in this society?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
we all are men.
Mm,
Well, what's
yeah.
men can't not have children, but yeah, later. Everything's
Yeah.
about later. Everything.
That's interesting.
It is.
And
I've
it's
never
so-
thought-
And like
I
you said,
never- I
something I'd never
that.
thought of.
It's,
I've never,
it's
ever
really,
thought of
really
that.
hard. And then you're thinking about not only that, you have mum guilt.
Mm.
So if you
Oh.
go back to work early, you're leaving your child at 1 year. The kid is 1 year old, and I'm having to put them
that's
in nursery.
here. That's here, by the way. In
Yeah.
other countries, you ain't
That's
getting
sort
that year.
Yeah.
You know that, obviously.
what, like
Like
a
America.
couple of 9 months, 6 months.
What are you talking about?
What do they get in America?
Well, they don't get maternity.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
some get 3 months. What are you talking about? Like,
Really?
like 6 months. What are you talking about? That? What are you not
They
talking
get
about?
the year, like
they
9
get,
months.
they get
then.
listen,
Oh, wow.
men get less
Yeah.
as expected. You already know that we get less here, but anyway, but
We get 2
for reasons. But nah, you don't get in no year. I remember when I first met a lot of my American friends, and I said, "Oh yeah, we were talking about stuff like that." It's like, yeah, women take a year off, on average. They're like, what?
Damn.
And still have a job. Yeah.
And let's bear in mind, after you've given birth, your body is
Oh,
not
oh,
going to
yeah.
be anywhere near ready to go out and do anything from
Yeah.
6 months to a year.
And that's a good birth.
But yet you're
Yeah,
expected
that's a
to
good
go
birth.
back. That's a normal
birth.
birth.
Yeah.
A simple birth.
And do you know what? The more we talk about that, the more I think to myself, that's a man's like decisions on this. There's no way a woman
has decided that.
has sat down or even probably been in the room and been like,
100%.
so we're gonna say we're gonna give them this long, they'll be fine.
Or it's a woman who hasn't had a child.
Or hasn't had a child.
family.
Yeah, but like to think about that part, and I mean, we would never experience being in that position, obviously, but just to try and be in that position in our mind, that's long.
Honestly, it's
That's long. It's
Yeah.
long.
I can't explain it, but like imagine going through a major surgery. 3 months later, they're saying you need to get back to work. And bear in mind, your kid isn't even going to be sleeping through the night at 3 months. You're going to have the one
Your
that
kid
does.
actually needs you.
You need the child. Your
like-
body is craving your child.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, your body will. I don't know how to explain it. We crave being with our
I
children.
didn't know that.
And your child craves being with you. And then when you're separated from them, that's when whole separation anxiety comes out. Then let's not even get into like postnatal depression that the mum can go through. And sometimes that doesn't hit till 3 months after. So I'm having to go back to work, put on a face, work.
So you've opened our ears a bit. So let me give you the devil's advocate view.
Okay.
That you are now the man in the company, and the company still has to run.
100%.
So you as that man, I know that she's just had the baby and tear, but then like, what do you do? So you're now the man. You have to take away that feelings that you know what it's like to be a mum, because you now have the company. The world doesn't stop just because people are out having babies and stuff.
I'm sure there's probably some sort of guilt as well from a man of wanting to not being able to be there with their new child, obviously.
Oh, so you're talking about
No,
the dad
I'm talking about
point of
you're
view.
the
You're talking
employer.
about, like,
I'm talking about from the employer's point of view.
CEO.
Oh, the
You're the
employer.
CEO. Do you
I
know
thought
what I
you
mean?
meant the father.
No,
kind
no,
of
no.
like,
I'm
oh,
so-
we're talking
we
employer.
know
Like,
Oh, but
fathers,
they don't
even.
come
But
on,
that's what I'm
listen.
saying. But
Get your ass and work, man.
But this is
Put
what
your
I'm saying.
chains
But
back
that's
on,
the
man.
male
Come on.
perspective of that. So I'm saying now I'm the perception reversal. Like, you put yourself in that position that their companies still have to run. They still have families at home that they have to feed, and they the world don't stop just because people are having babies. And
But then
things
you
like
also
that.
can't go against the woman that has decided to go and have a child.
True.
Put her on a higher normal pay. Put her on what other people that she's coming in on theirs.
True.
Help her. Like if she needs to work from home 5 days a week, come into the office 1 week at home 1 week. But it's little things like
but why would they do that?
Yeah, that's the devil card for it is that you're the ruthless
why would they do
CEO.
that?
I'll
I'm gonna
find
get someone. I'm
someone
gonna get
else who
someone
can work
less,
5 days.
and for less money,
That can work
why
5
would-
days and do the same job
and for less money.
for less money.
it comes down to effort.
Hey, but money's always money
Yeah,
runs
nah, I
it.
hear
bro.
it.
It will.
I hear it.
And it comes down to ethics and stuff like that. But it's clear that not a lot of companies have it.
But you're the company. I'm asking you to be that person Zip, in this procession. Yeah.
I think you naturally would want to act differently. Whether the parameters of the business allows you to is different. But I think you probably would be more lenient to try. But going back to that point, like Wanda's saying, the money still needs to come in because ultimately their family is the most important, and their family are living off of the money that comes in from this business. So that will always take precedence over your situation.
And to answer from a male perspective,
and that's it. But we have no choice. But then you're in a situation where women go, actually, I don't want a child. Then what is this doing?
Well, we ain't gonna be surviving.
From a male perspective, obviously I don't have a child yet. But men are more practical, so men understand that the world has to go on. So I know that I have to go back to work, and the world gets to go on, and I do get to have to reduce the time I spend with family because I need to feed my family and all that. Do you know what I mean? Men think about that more practically, whereas a woman, I think, it's a lot more emotional. And like you're saying, that you're like, it's unfair to give up all that and the separation and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's a huge difference between the way men think and
but
to answer that question, what you're saying is that's how a man would perceive that situation. Like I'd be like, I've got to go back to work, but I've got to go back to work because I've got to feed my wife and my family at home. Do you know what I mean?
So if your woman you've had a baby, your partner's had a baby, and she's on a higher paying job, would you guys happily stay at home and look after the kid while your woman goes out to work?
She's a higher paid, but she wouldn't be able to though because
Say
she'll
she did. So
still
after
need to.
Say after 3 months or 6 months,
Okay.
she's
She's
like,
going back.
actually, I'm okay. I'll go back to work. You could be a stay-at-home dad. You
Yeah.
can look after
For
the
my
kid.
kids, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah.
No problem in that.
Absolutely fine with that.
And
No
would you
problem in that.
take a lower, like, say for example, would you take a pay cut because you're not going to be, like, let's say you're not going to be as active in work, so you're going to have to take a step down from work?
I'm
Would
not
you
a
do
father
that?
yet, but from what I understand of it, they become your absolute everything. So my answer's going to
You
be a
would.
yes.
Yeah.
My answer's going to be a yes on that. We're going to go for a break here, but really quick. You mentioned about like men being more practical. Just really quick. On that topic, just really, really quickly, I've realized the best managers I've had are women managers.
Why?
Guys, to find out, tune in to the next episode.